It's not only the type; it's also the form, the form factor of the type of information. Aside from the type, there's also the importance of the information or the value of information. The study also showed that there will be an increased security intensity of the information that's being produced. From a current, out of the total digital universe, they're saying currently about 30% is security intense. But they're seeing it go up to around 45% moving forward in the next 4 years.
So is that a good signal that more people are more, I mean, I'm presuming this is individuals and corporations alike.
Individuals and corporations. It's good and bad. It's talking about increase in video surveillance. It's an increase in the need to secure your information, both as an individual and as a company. And aside from security, the second trend they're seeing is the increase in compliance intensity. I think if you look at the economic crisis, what did it do? No? While people have less money, it also brings about greater regulatory pressure for policymakers. And greater regulation will mean greater compliance. Greater compliance will probably lead or require more record keeping.
So where is this really heading? I mean, would you say who would the information really be more important to? I mean, we talked about before we got on air, it's important to the consumers, it's important to the industry, it's important to governments. Would you say at the end of the day, who would be the most interested and the most concerned with the information that this survey has brought about?
I think it will be most important to the organizations who see the opportunity to harness this information. And
so you see it as more as an opportunity than a threat?
It's a double-edged sword. I've mentioned the challenges on security, compliance, managing the growth. On the other hand, a company who's able to harness the information to their advantage to differentiate themselves and to see the trends in the market will become the dominant players in the future.
So, but on the hand of the consumers, will it come to a point that they'll have to be concerned about their digital output? In terms of the amount, and throw you another question, in terms of security.
Well, no doubt, TJ, the world has embarked on a journey to transform all its information into digital format. And as I said, bulk of it will be produced by the individual. The question now remains, and it's still an open question, is who owns the information? No? Is it the individual who published it?
Even if you click the I agree in the security settings.
Do I own it? Or would the companies who collect this type of information, make sense out of it, put intelligence into it, actually have ownership rights to it? And even then, after answering that question, there remains the question of is there a clear mandate on how these organizations should or can use this type of information?
I mean, it's not as simple as people thinking they'll use my picture for an advertisement. No, but they'll use the trends, your habits, your searching habits, and all this and that. And it can be, you won't necessarily have a name, but you're one of a number. And so you think this big boom in social networking will bring that to light also? That regulators will have to say, okay, you know, wait a second, we have to figure out what all these security issues mean and how we can regulate how individuals are protected of their rights? Well,
definitely. From a policy level, you look at, again, compliance type. How do you archive it? How do you, what are the backup policies? How long should you keep information? You're talking about growth in personal health records, for example, or ATM transactions, financial transactions. The regulators will have to figure out what makes business sense in terms of keeping all this information.
So you think it'll come to that point? They'll have to decide what to... because of the amount of data.
Some governments have started coming out with policies in this area. Both in the area of security and compliance. You've heard about Sarbanes-Oxley in the U.S. It's a regulation that requires companies to lower their risk and to retain records for audit purposes. And more of these will be coming out. In the area of security, policies on risk management have come out in the financial sector. And again, as an individual, there are basic practices that might make sense for you, or practical things you should be doing as an individual to protect and manage your information.
All right. And I guess some people may be wondering, who would be responsible for this? I mean, if you want people to regulate it, is it the government? Is it, I mean, since the internet's worldwide, is it the UN? I mean, who will really have, you know, to put their foot down and say, wait a second, this is what should be done?
Right. Again, it spans cross government agencies, cross industries, and cross organizations. But the fact is, and the reality is, organizations will need to figure out how they will respond to this. You know? There are challenges. You deal with a challenge. You deal with the growth. You look at ways to do things differently. Re-architect your infrastructure. Look at ways to consolidate and increase your efficiency in your organization so that you're able to handle the growth. But at the same time, be aware that while it's a challenge, it's also an opportunity.
Right. Absolutely. So I agree with you completely on that one. It is a wake-up call, and it is a double-edged sword. It's a challenge and a threat in a way that you got to do something about it. At least now we're more aware. That's the most important thing. We're more aware, whether you're an individual, you're a regulator, or the industry like you guys. So best of luck for you guys to keep in pace, and we'll be watching you guys as you continue to provide us with the hardware and the software that we need. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Up ahead, we'll have the stock market update after the break. Stick around. This is Mornings at ANC.